Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 324. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the JP8 report. It's James Pierce. I saw a few of y'all this morning at 7 o'clock. That's all right. Let's do this. It's a busy day. And if you were watching this morning, you know that I was reading a letter from that was addressed to Benjamin Franklin. And like I told y'all, I'm going to continue it this afternoon. It is a really good intelligence top letter. Okay, so before we get started, don't forget to click the follow button if you are not already a follower of the JPA report, and then click that like button, which is the thumbs up, and then engages with me and my buddy Padre. He just put on there, let's chat. That's right. Let's chat. If you're watching, please put an American flag in the chat. Let Padre know. Padre's quote unquote our hall monitor, but he's a good guy too. He's retired Army, just like I am, and he's a pastor too, so he's good to go. All right. So welcome to the JP8 report, and let's go. I will. First, it's a letter from Trevor Newland to Benjamin Franklin on the 5th of February 1776, and I'm going to back off one sentence and then continue on. So where does that sentence? Well, let's just start here. It occurred to me when they went to quell the Tories upon Long Island that it would be a good time, but there might be a diversion of the like kind, or on the same, or on any other that. And I'll tell you right now, this guy believes in run-on sentences. Might keep it a secret from the people of Staten Island, Long Island, and New York, whom I took upon to be very rotten. His words, not mine, okay? To have done much hurt. It is, if this matter is not soon put to execution, it will be reinforced, or they will fall into the North River. But if there was a lodgment with some guns upon Nutten Island, with the town battery to assist, they could not get out without running aground. I should say they could not. They could not get out without running aground. As soon as the batteries upon Long Island and Nutten Island begin to play there, should be some of the Connecticut men or some others ready to run down upon the wharfs with a few guns ahead and astern, and with grape to clear the decks and fire into the ports while loading. The batteries will have this advantage, that they can play by night if clear. This method will so harass and disable them that they must strike quickly, or they might be boarded, or they will be boarded. When this affair is finished, the men should immediately march to the Narrows and erect a battery that would keep all out, and all in 20 guns would sink any vessel that would dare attempt to go properly disposed of, and would be out of the range of all shot from shipping. Your cruisers would find shelter and a good harbor, and had this been done last summer, our enemies in Boston would starve year out. Hear this, and this grammar, I tell you. There should be a camp formed early in the spring, and 2 strong forts erected with the retrenchments to cover them, for you may depend upon there will be a vigorous push made early to get up the North River. Works upon each side would greatly retard the delay of their operations, and I doubt not but defeat the design of the campaign. To attack both, they must divide their army, which would greatly harass them. And if they wait to attack them one after another, the campaign is lost. Beside the attacks made upon them at landing within the vicinity and perhaps under cover of these forts, the retrenchments, also the attacks on the rear, while they are attacking the works. In short, we have everything in our favor to defeat the ensuing campaign. If we only begin in time to conduct matters properly, you want nothing but experienced officers, 500 at least, but to return to the men of war, that if I find such intimidates the people of this country, is well-constructed floating battery, formidable and powerful in her own element at sea, no doubt, but when opposed to the land, but an eggshell. Batteries and guns properly placed will soon silence them. I will here describe as well as I can the batteries of late made use against shipping. The old batteries in our ports and harbors at home found almost useless as they are built. But built similar to or like that at New York, very low and near the water, whereby the vessel has all the power over them that she could wish, but only from her great guns, but small guns. Whereas quiet, the reverse ought to be case. The batteries should be fixed at a distance from the water and vessel, no nearer than 200 yards if the ground is admit from the channel, or the vessel is to anchor or sail in a pond high enough to be out of range of her shot. If such ground cannot be found, take the highest you can get and sink or let in your platforms and guns upon the top or summit of the hill, the muzzles of the guns as if it were peeping out of the hill. Thus the men will work their guns when thus simulated the facility and safety and out of the reach of all shot. There is no ship in the world that would dare offer an attack or such of a battery. If 20 guns were mounted, these kinds of batteries that I would purpose for all these attacks upon vessels that I would make use upon Long Island and Nutter Island. And though the land is not so high as may be wished, yet the sinking and letting in the guns in the firm and highest ground will answer purpose, no doubt. Okay, I'm going to stop there because that was a lot of reading, and we have a lot of news to go over. Let's see, that's 2, and this is 3. All right, so continuation tomorrow morning from the letter from Trevor Newland to Benjamin Franklin. All right, so I'll put this over here. All right, so give me a drink. Thanks, Rob. Padre. All right. So that was pretty cool. I don't get too many letters from or to Benjamin Franklin. That was pretty cool. All right. So before we go any further, I gotta talk about my burger guys. All right. The Dalmatian is a company that makes smash burgers and dogs in Copper's Cove. All their ingredients are homemade, including their buns. They sell out a whole lot, guys, a whole lot. But they're open for lunch Monday through Saturday, 11 to 2. And then they're also open for dinner Tuesday through Saturday, 5:30 to 7, unless they sell out. And they're located on the west side of Copper's Cove, behind Bush's Chicken. And so if you're in the vicinity, come on by, buy a burger from them. Buy that armadillo burger. Really good. That's a good jalapeno burger. All right. So that is the Dalmatians. Okay. So I was going to talk about the Supreme Court first, but this came over the news about 45 minutes ago, and I figured y'all want to hear about it unless y'all have seen it already. So I didn't even print it. I just put it on the internet so I can read it real quick. Democrat rising star who called Trump con man spent over $120,000 on hotels, transportation, and security. This is all in 2025. Progressive rising star Jasmine Crockett, who is running for the U.S. Senate in Texas, spent over $120,000 on luxury hotels, transportation, and private security for services during the course of 2025. Federal Election Commission filings for Crockett, who has referred to President Donald Trump as a slick con man, only concerned about pleasing the rich, and show she sank just $124,000 from her House and Senate campaign funds on luxury lodging, high-end transportation, and private security in 2025. Crockett spent $32,685.58 on luxury hotels alone. In the final quarter of 2025, Crockett launched her Senate campaign, which she famed as a fight for the people against a system of greed. I guess everybody needs to vote against her then. She spent $11,841 on top name hotels across the country. Hotels Crockett campaigns paid for in the last quarter of 2025 include the Ritz-Carlton, the St. Regis, the Hotel Zaza, Kimpton, and the five-star Los Angeles West Hollywood edition. Meanwhile, she spent a total of $11,738 on a limousine and car services in 2025. Her Senate and House filings show she spent $5,446 on a Bay Area Lux limos based in California and detailed drivers a white glove transportation service in at least 3 months of the year. By far, largest expense was, get this, and I talked about this morning about Cori Bush and her security detail. Oh, I just gave it up. Crockett paid close to $80,000 for security in 2025. A significant portion, $30,079 of those security costs came in the final quarter of 2025, from October 1st to December 31st. And remember, she filed for the Senate on December 13th, I believe it was. In 2021, Crockett was serving in the U.S. House of... In 2021, while Crockett was serving in the Texas House of Representatives, she said, the defund movement seeks to actually bring about healing and finally invest in our communities to make them safer, addressing the root causes of crime, and by following the professionals who do such respective jobs. Defund is about finally being smart on crime. Defund is about lightening the load of our offices and of all things that they don't sign up for. Defund is about finally being financially responsible when it comes to policing in this state. Since entering Congress in 2023, Crockett has emerged as one of the foremost Democrat voices, especially when it comes to criticism of the Trump administration and other Republicans. Man, so Little Miss Congressman wants to spend a lot of money on stuff from campaign funds. I don't think that's a smart thing to do. What do y'all think? I mean, she's going to get beat here in Texas. I don't care if it's Corrin or Paxton or Hunt. She's going to get beat, hands down. We don't want and we don't need someone like that in office in Texas. And the fact is, she used campaign funds to pay for her security. Goes back to what I was saying earlier this morning, was that we are in desperate need for some type of campaign finance reform, so it would dictate on what and how much politicians can spend on different services, because like some of that, no, not from her, but some of that money could have came from me as Joe civilian, right? If I give you $100, I expect you to spend $100 on campaign materials, not spend $25 on campaign materials and the rest on security. It doesn't work like that. All right. So that's a hypocrite, and hypocrites deserve to go down. So don't even give her a vote. Matter of fact, don't even give Tallarico your vote, because birds of a feather flock together, right? So stick with the Republicans. We're not perfect, but we're close. All right. So let me go back over here. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna refresh. Hold on, just give me a second here, guys. Okay, so SCOTUS, we still got to talk about SCOTUS is Supreme Court, okay? Sorry about that. Supreme Court shuts down California GOP bid to block Newsom's new map. Okay, so there's a couple of things about this. I know they're celebrating in California right now. They said 65% of the people approved Prop 50. It doesn't mean it's right. It's just, it means that they approved it. The Supreme Court cleared a way for California to use its newly redrawn congressional map, which shifts 5 seats into the Democrat favor in the 2026 midterms. The High Court's decision to decline to take up the emergency appeal, that means it still has to be heard, all right, from California Republicans come as voters in the state approved the ballot measure called Proposition 50, which allowed the state to enact a Democrat-friendly map in time for the midterms. The justices' decision include no dissents or explanation. The state Republicans, joined by the DOJ, had sued Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom. Allegedly, the map was an illegal racial gerrymandering, and I still agree that it is. In part because of the mapmaker, Paul Mitchell, touted it as it would bolster the Latino vote. California lawyers argued that to the High Court that those claims were insufficient to meet the high burden required to overturn the map, and they also said no district actually gained Latino residents of voting age, and none of the stray arguments invoked by the plaintiffs reveals any race-based motive, let alone racial motivation, that predominates over all others, California lawyers said. Prop 50, according to Newsom, was a way to fight what he called President Donald Trump's power grab in Texas. Okay, hold on. We got breaking news. Let's see what it is. It's a news conference for Nancy Guthrie. Okay. All right. So, a couple of things. They said it's an emergency. They were appealing for an emergency ruling, which the Supreme Court denied. They wanted to go back to the lower court, and then they want to make have hearings on it. So, by suggestion, since it was dealt a setback, because Monday they'll be able to file for office in California, because I think their primary is in the beginning of June. Okay, like here in Texas, our filing period in Texas was November 8th to December 8th, and our primary is March 3rd. So, if I was a Republican living in California, while there's a run-up to the primary, I would, if I were them, I'd wait to file a lawsuit on racial discrimination is what I was looking at, but I don't know if that would really pull through. I don't know. If y'all have any comments on that, let me know. But one thing I did want to say is that this is supposed to be a temporary measure and it's supposed to go back before the voters to put the voting scheme, the little scam they got going on, back into the Constitution, because this was supposed to be a temporary relief to what was happening. But they got this wealth tax that's going on the ballot. And what they're doing is running more people out of the state. So right now they're looking at California losing 4 congressional districts in the 2030 census. I would be willing to go, if this goes through and the wealth tax goes through, what I was talking about yesterday, they stand to lose 2, maybe 3 more electoral votes. So I would be predicting, if you want to mark me down, is I think they will lose 7 seats in the next census if this stuff still stands, because people are just going to bail on this they're just going to bail on the state of California. The what do you call it? The communist state of California, because in Virginia you have the Democratic People's Republic of Virginia. All right. So let's see. Put that over here. Now I'm going to read. It's just a couple of pages from the U.S. News. Oh, not U.S. News. It's USA Today. Americans want voter integrity. Why don't Democrats? This is from Nicole Russell from USA Today. I loathe to give credit to my friends in the Democrat Party for much, but I will say this about them: they know how and when to circle the wagons to get things done in Congress. I hate this when it's done in practice. Like when Senate Democrats passed the Affordable Care Act in 2009 with just 60 votes and no Republican support, Senate Republicans were able to narrowly pass the One Big Beautiful Bill in 2025 with Vice President J.D. Vance casting the tie-breaking vote. Republicans in Congress must learn from that success and also rip a page from the Democrat playbook and forge ahead with chutzpah to get one more bill passed. The SAVE Act, the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, which would require documentary proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote in federal elections, passed the U.S. House with some bipartisan support and should be brought to the Senate floor. Senate Majority Leader John Thune, Republican, South Dakota, said February 3rd that he was open to pushing the Democrats who opposed the bill toward a standing filibuster, a seldom used interpretation of the rules to require that senators actively hold the floor while continuously debate and to delay or block a vote. As of this writing, Thune has not yet decided if he will do that. And good luck. Don't hold your breath too long. Republicans need 60 votes, which they might not have, but to invoke cloture and end debate, Republicans should show Democrats how to exhaust themselves with the filibuster, and when it ends, whip up enough votes to pass the SAVE Act. It looks like the Senate Republicans and Democrats are stonewalling a bill the American people, a majority of Americans support for different reasons. Republicans support the bill, but are balking because they are short of votes. Really? Thankfully, Senator Mike Lee co-sponsored the bill and seems to think Republicans are close to forcing the Democrats to filibuster 24/7 on the Senate floor. Representative Brandon Gill, Republican, Texas, wrote a strong letter to Mitch McConnell asking his committee to stop stalling and push the SAVE Act to the Senate floor. I think this advice is wise, in part because Americans really already support the key elements of the bill, and in part because it forces Democrats to explain why they wouldn't support something most Americans do. Okay. You still there, Rob? Okay. According to the Pew Research Center in 2025 survey, an incredible 83% of Americans favor requiring all voters to show government ID. 2024 Gallup poll showed 83% of supported requiring people who are registered to vote for the first time to proof of citizenship. If Republicans will not bring the SAVE Act to the floor, they should consider why they are lawmakers in the first place, and their constituents should not hesitate to vote them out of the office during the next election. Okay, New York Post is saying police say they believe Nancy Guthrie is still out there. We want her home. Follow the Post for live updates. Okay. Alrighty. So where am I at? Oh yeah. Hold on. Okay. So why don't Democrats want tighter election security? Americans must present a valid photo ID to travel on an airplane or even purchase alcohol. This should be a base requirement for election security. Yep. In fact, I don't understand why Democrats wouldn't support this, especially given the popularity among the electorate. Yet, Senate Democrats have vocally opposed the SAVE Act despite the fact that Americans support key elements of the bill. Senate Minority Leader Chucky Schumer hates the SAVE Act, so he called it Jim Crow 2.0. And the Brennan Center of Justice, roughly half Americans don't even have a passport. Millions lack access to a paper copy of their birth certificate. Critics of the bill say it would curb access to voting for millions of Americans who lack proper identification. I don't see how the requirements in the SAVE Act are any way unreasonable. I do want every American citizen to be able to vote, but proof of citizenship should be a bare minimum requirement. The fact that Democrats are adamantly against this and Republicans are not raising red flags about it, the Democrats are afraid that they would lose potential voters. Voters that can't speak English, but there's no poll tax, so you can't enforce that. Republicans must pass the SAVE Act to strengthen the law that permits only U.S. citizens to vote in federal elections. Why not? Requiring voter ID, the proof of citizenship, ensures that our federal elections are not decided by Republicans must pass the SAVE Act. Man, I lost where I was at. Never take your paper off, eyes off the paper when you're reading them in different directions. Requiring voter ID and proof of citizenship ensures that our federal electors are decided by U.S. citizens. Republicans should tear a page from the Democrats' playbook, circle the wagons, and do what Democrats do. What if they were in power? Bring the bill to the floor, let each side filibuster it to exhaustion, and enforce them to explain why they are against something most Americans support. If Republicans can't do this, they shouldn't be in power. All right. Any comments on that? Because they know what they're talking about. All right. Let's see. Trump makes endorsement in contest to fill House seat vacated by ex-ally Marjorie Taylor Greene. All right. So President Trump endorsed Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit District Attorney Clay Fuller for the U.S. House seat in Georgia's 14th Congressional District. That seat was vacated earlier this year by former GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a longtime Trump supporter turned critic who decided to leave office after a public falling out with the president. Trump lambasted her last year as Marjorie Trader Brown. Okay, so MTG's. Does this say when election day is going to be? I'll let y'all know. Oh, wow. March 10th is the primary, and April 7th is the actual election day. Oh, wow, really? Hold on. So, they're doing a special election to fill Greene's seat March 10th, according to General Secretary Brad Raffensperger. If none of the candidates show a majority of the vote in the special election, the top two finishers will win. Okay, they're doing another... what's it? Oh man, they use it in Alaska. I can't think of what it is right now, which is stupid. Random. I can't think of it. Okay. Next is Trump also endorsed Blake Miguez. He is running for the 5th U.S. Congress's seat in Louisiana. Now, last week, He was about to pull the trigger and be a nominee for the United States Senate. He changed his mind and went back to running for re-election in his congressional seat. President heard about it. President also gave his complete endorsement also. So he supported Letlow to a point that he's probably going to endorse her also, right? So there's that one right there. And then, that's a lot of reading. Alrighty. So, do I want to stop for the day? So I'm debating on whether to stop him because I have a very important class about to begin in a little bit over an hour. I want to be ready for it too. But let's talk about this first. Charlie Kirk, before he passed away, he backed a Senate candidate in Kentucky named Nate Morse. And as of right now, he's surging ahead of his nearest competitor. Businessman Nate Morse is gaining ground in the race to replace retiring Senate Mitch McConnell, fueled by high favorability ratings and more recognition and the endorsement of late conservative activist Charlie Kirk, according to an internal polling memo obtained by the Post. And let's see. Likely GOP voters in a bluegrass state last month found that the campaign support has grown by 13%. If a primary election was held today, a plurality of 29% would vote for Attorney General Daniel Cameron, while 21% would support Andy Barr, 18% would support Morse, and another 29%, the survey said. All right. So, Turning Point Action and pretty much endorsed this guy. So, give him your support and your vote, right? His name is Nate Morse. He's running for the United States Senate against this other good Republican named Campbell, I believe it is. All right. Another Republican is he lost by 3.6% in the latest, the latest election in 2024. So he decided to go ahead and go up against Tom Suozzi. The guy that's going to challenge him is, what do you call it? Man, I forgot what it was. But, okay. So, Michael LaPetrie is going to challenge Tom Suozzi. And he only lost to him by 3.6% in the last congressional campaign. And he faces a potential primary, but has been the backing of the Nassau GOP machine. Long Island Nissan County Executive Bruce Blakeman, who will lead the Republican ticket as a party candidate for governor. All right. All right, so we'll hopefully this guy wins, right? So it's Michael LaPetrie running against Mr. Suozzi, Tom Suozzi. All right, and so 3.6% ain't hard. You can overcome that. What do we got here? 1239. Alrighty, so We got that stuff done today. Yeah, I'm going to cut out early. All right. So let me give you all some other details. What's going on? Okay, we have these are our election Texas voting days. They show February 17th to 27th is early voting. We have our Lincoln Reagan dinner, which I'm going to show you in just a second, on the 21st. All right. Primary day is March 3rd, and the runoff for the primary is May 26th. All right. So go back and then go to the Lincoln Reagan dinner. This is our Lincoln Reagan dinner. It's going to be on the 21st of August. It's let me start that over. Okay, the Lincoln Reagan dinner is the 21st of February in Gatesville at the Texas Station Event Center. So tickets are $60 a person or $100 a person, $100 a couple. And then we also have tables that are available, okay? I'm going to be sitting at a table with my guy Padre over here, retired Rob, me, him, and our spouses, and Christina Strophus. She's a city councilwoman, and she's bringing a good friend of hers. So we have a front row table. And then if you want to buy tickets, you either go two places or three. You can go to the QR code that's on the screen right now, or you can go to the show notes, and they're in the bottom of the show notes that with the anecdote link on there. You can buy your tickets through there also. Or you can go to the Coryell County Republican Party Facebook page, and it'll show you how to do that there also. All right? We're having steak and chicken as part of the meal. All right? So, transition back. Get that ready. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to let you go to tomorrow morning. I'm going to get ready for this class that's going to start at 2. So, if you didn't know, the class that I'm going to be taking is from the Leadership Institute. It's a conservative. I don't know if they're allied with the Republican Party, but they're a conservative group. And they're going to be doing what do you call a conservative podcast in school, and it's going to be 3 hours. It's on Zoom. It's totally free, and that's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. All this afternoon. I got to get some groceries in me before I sit down and go for this, because it starts at 2 p.m. and it's already 12:45. So I got an hour and 15 minutes to throw some groceries down and get ready to do this. All right, so yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here. These are my socials on X, Facebook, ScrewTube, James Pierce Jr., James A. Pierce Jr., the JP8 Report 67, and there I am on Truth at James A. Pierce. And if you want to send me an email, that would be jp8report@gmail.com. There was something else I was going to tell you. I completely forgot. But isn't that discerning about Jasmine Crockett spending all that hard-earned campaign money on frivolous stuff? Why can't she just get in a car and drive? Right? Why wasn't someone repairing her... man. Oh, my goodness, man. Okay. I've had enough. All right. Just for the day. I will talk to y'all tomorrow morning. Let me get focused, because this morning I gave a really good podcast, and this one's so. But yeah, let me start this over tomorrow. All right. I will talk to y'all later. This is James Pierce of JP8 Report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.